All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about a legal tool that is, no exaggeration, a total game changer. It can literally be the difference between financial ruin and survival when you're stuck in a lawsuit. I mean, think about it for a second. It's a really serious question. You're in the middle of a huge legal fight, maybe with a spouse, and suddenly the person you're suing cuts off all your access to money. How are you supposed to pay your rent? Buy groceries? How do you even live while you wait for the court to make a decision? And this is the heart of the issue, right? Justice is not fast. These cases are absolute marathons, not quick sprints. And while the wheels of justice are turning so slowly, your bills don't just stop. This puts people, especially in family law cases where one person might be financially dependent, in an incredibly tough and vulnerable spot. But, and this is the good news, the law actually recognizes this massive problem, and it provides a solution, a real financial lifeline for when you need it the most. It's called Support Pendente Lite. Yeah, it sounds super formal and complicated, but I promise you, the idea is simple. Pendente Lite is just Latin for pending the litigation, or, while the lawsuit is happening. So it's exactly what it says on the tin. Temporary support money, ordered by a judge to keep you going until the case is officially over. The best way to think about it is like financial first aid. It's not the final cure, and it's definitely not the final judgment on who's right or wrong. It's just a temporary or provisional fix designed to stop the bleeding, financially speaking, and make sure things stay fair while the court is figuring out the main event. Okay, so we get what it is. It's a temporary lifeline. But how do you actually get one? Well, the whole process is laid out for us step by step in Rule 61 of the Rules of Court. It really boils down to 3 key steps. First, you've got to file what's called a verified application. That's just a formal request that you swear is true. Second, the other person, the adverse party, gets their chance to reply. And third, the court brings everyone in for a hearing to look at the facts and make a call. Now, what you put in that application is absolutely crucial. You can't just walk in and say, "I need money." You have to explain why, the grounds for your claim. And here's the kicker. You have to show the financial situation of both of you. The court has to see the whole picture, everybody's finances, to decide what's fair. And once you file that application, a clock starts ticking for the other side. They get exactly 5 days to file their response. That's it. Just 5. The court keeps this deadline super tight because the whole point of this thing is to provide urgent help, not to get bogged down for months. So, after the hearing, let's say the court sides with you. It issues an order for support? Fantastic. But, a court order is just a piece of paper if you can't actually make it happen. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What happens if the other person just says no? If they just ignore a direct order from a judge to pay you? What gives this financial first aid its real power? Well, this is where that piece of paper gets some serious teeth. The law has 3 main ways to enforce the order. First, a writ of execution. This basically means the court can tell the sheriff to seize property, a car, a bank account, to pay what's owed. Second, ignoring a judge is a big no-no. It can land you in contempt of court, which has its own set of serious penalties. And third, let's say your mom or a friend steps in to help you out financially. They can actually sue the non-paying person to get their money back. Now, let's not forget, this is all temporary. It's a provisional fix. So what happens when the main case is finally over and done with? How does all this temporary support get sorted out in the final decision? You've really got to get the difference here. Support Pendente Lite is temporary, an ancillary, meaning it's just a side issue to the main case. It's decided fast in a quick hearing. The final support judgment, on the other hand, is permanent. It's a core part of the final decision and comes only after a full-blown trial with all the evidence. And this is where the system has a final check and balance. It's called restitution. Let's say after the whole trial is over, the court decides that the person who got the temporary support wasn't actually entitled to it. Well, the court will then order them to pay all of it back. It ensures that even though this tool provides urgent help, it's ultimately fair in the long run. There's a quote from a big case, Calderon versus Roxas, that just nails this idea perfectly. It says that provisional remedies are just temporary measures. They're side gigs that are totally dependent on how the main event turns out. They exist to keep things fair during the process, not to pick the final winner. So what this all means is that our legal system has a way to stop someone from being financially starved out of a lawsuit, But it does leave us with a pretty big question to think about. In a system where a final decision can take years, is a temporary lifeline, a form of financial first aid, really enough to guarantee that justice is truly served? Something to chew on.